Imagine two colleagues, both 65, retiring on the exact same day with the exact same $1.5 million in their 401k. One is toasted with champagne, dreaming of a villa in Tuscany, finally exhaling after 40 years of the grind. Why? The other is staring at a double-folded tax projection tucked in their pocket, realizing that before they even cashed their first Social Security check, they've already lost the game. Most people think retirement is a finish line where you finally stop running. It's not. It's a transition into a deadlier, silent arena where the rules you spent 40 years learning are suddenly flipped upside down. You've been told that if you saved, sacrificed, checked the right boxes, the system would take care of you. But the system wasn't designed to make you wealthy. It was designed to keep you compliant. Until the day you stopped being a producer. Your retirement isn't failing because you were lazy or didn't save enough. It's failing because of a rigged feature in the code, a series of invisible traps designed to reclaim your wealth the moment you try to use it. Think of your retirement fund not as a pile of gold, but as a reservoir behind a dam. For 40 years, you worked to fill that reservoir, drop by drop, on scrap paper late at night. But the moment you open the sluice gates to actually live your life, you realize the pipes are riddled with quiet leaks. Leaks you never saw coming. These aren't market crashes. Why? They are structural tax bombs and insurance penalties that trigger the moment you announce your freedom to the world. If you feel like you are walking into a minefield blindly, you are right to be afraid. You are losing sleep over the cost of 4 tires while having $1 million in the bank. It's because your intuition knows something your spreadsheet doesn't. The math of accumulation is the polar opposite of the math of decumulation. We are going to fix your trajectory today before you pull your first dollar and trigger a chain reaction of IRS penalties you can't undo. To escape this rigged game, you must master 3 systemic levers that the standard advisors never mention. The first lever is the withdrawal sequence. Most retirees default to pulling from their traditional IRA because it's the biggest bucket. But this is a fatal strategic error. Every dollar you pull from that bucket is taxed as ordinary income, and if you cross an invisible line by just $1, the system triggers IRMMA surcharges. Why? One extra dollar of income can quietly strip you of $15,000 in Medicare subsidies, turning your reward for saving into a massive financial penalty. The second lever is the tax shield. You must stop thinking about taxes year to year and start thinking about them as a lifetime liability. The game is rigged so that when one spouse passes away, the survivor is forced into the single filing bracket while the required distributions stay exactly the same. It is a widow's penalty that can double your tax bill overnight, forcing you to begin cannibalizing your savings just to keep the lights on. The third lever is the cash shield. In the working world, a 3-month emergency fund was enough because a paycheck was always coming. In retirement, you are the employer and the employee, and if the market turns red on a Tuesday, cannot afford to sell your life's work at a discount just to buy groceries. You need a 2-year structural buffer of cash, not as an investment, but as a psychological and financial moat that prevents the system from forcing your hand when you are most vulnerable. Look in the mirror and ask yourself how many Sunday nights you spent huddled over a kitchen table, 4 different browser tabs open, trying to remember 4 different passwords, just to see how much of your own life you actually own. You did everything they told you to do, but you still feel like you have arrived at the party, just as the hosts are cleaning up the mess and heading for the door. You spent 40 years in the saver lane, conditioned to believe that every dollar spent was a personal defeat, a tiny betrayal of your future self. And now, even with $1 million in the bank, you're still paralyzed by a $15 increase in your internet bill, the fear that a set of new tires will somehow collapse your entire legacy. This isn't just frugality. This is a psychological prison. You've been trapped in the 1 more year syndrome, convinced that if you just grind out 12 more months of a job that drains your soul. You'll finally buy the permission to breathe. But the truth is, why? The goalposts keep moving because the game was designed to keep you running on the treadmill until the motor burns out. You aren't struggling because you're weak or financially illiterate. You're struggling because you're trying to use a map for a city that no longer exists. You were taught how to accumulate, but no one ever gave you the license to enjoy. No one told you that the ultimate power isn't having the most zeros in a 401k. It's having the flexibility to say no to a rigged system and yes to your own time. I am giving you that license right now. You have permission to stop cannibalizing your peace of mind for a future that is already here. You have permission to spend your money without the crushing weight of guilt, to travel while your legs still work, and to stop being the unpaid janitor of a vacation home that feels more like a second job. The system wants you to stay afraid because fearful people are easy to manage and even easier to tax. But once you understand the levers, once you see the invisible traps for what they are, the fear loses its grip. You are not a W-2 identity anymore. You are a free agent in a world that finally belongs to you. Tonight, I want you to take exactly one action. Open your 401k or IRA portal and look at your beneficiary designations. Not tomorrow. Tonight, make sure your life's work is going exactly where you want it to go and not into a legal black hole or an outdated trust. I produce these deep dives for the rare few who refuse to play a game that has been rigged against them. If you are tired of the standard noise and you're ready to reclaim the steering wheel of your second act, then subscribe and join this community of the awakened. We are the ones who choose clarity over complexity and freedom over fear. What is the one leak in your bucket that keeps you up at night? Is it the taxes, the health costs, or just the fear of being enough? Comment below. I read every single one, and we're going to solve this together. Retire smart, retire quiet, and for once, retire for yourself.